Hey guys, I'm Bits Code, and today we'll learn how to create a sword game pass. You can easily swap the sword for any item, like a coil or a cookie, so this method works for granting any item after purchase. We've already covered how to make a Game Pass button in another tutorial, so I recommend checking that out first to get started. In our sword Game Pass example, I'll add a sword tool and place it in ServerStorage. It will be cloned from there to the player after the Game Pass is purchased. I'll add a script to ServerScript service and name it Sword Handler. After that, we can start coding. This might look a bit confusing at first, but I'll break down each part of the code step by step so it's easy to understand. These three variables define the marketplace service, server storage, and players. Here's the variable for the sword, which is currently in server storage, and a variable for the Game Pass ID. Make sure to replace this with your own Game Pass ID. If you're unsure how to find it, check out my video on creating a Game Pass button, where I explain how to locate the ID. Also, ensure that the name of the sword matches the sword variable, especially if you're using a different sword than the one I'm using. This part of the code runs after the Game Pass purchase is completed and passes three variables: the player, bought Game Pass ID, and was purchased. The variable was purchased indicates whether the purchase was successful or not. If the purchase was unsuccessful, the code will not continue. As you can see, the GiveSword function only runs if the Game Pass ID matches the bought Game Pass ID. The GiveSword function receives the player parameter, clones the sword, and adds it to the player's backpack. This part of the script runs when the player is added to the game, and this part executes when the player's character is added. The hasPass variable checks if the player owns the Game Pass, which requires two pieces of data: the player's user ID and the Game Pass ID. If this condition is true, the script runs the GiveSword function. So as you can see, it's not that hard to code, right? Let's see how it works in practice. There's a slight delay before the game actually gives the sword. And as you can see, the sword was given upon purchase. However, there's one issue that only occurs in Roblox Studio. After dying, you don't receive the sword again, even though you should since you've already bought the Game Pass. Why does this happen? It's because in Studio, a Game Pass purchase doesn't actually grant you the Game Pass. It's only for testing purposes. As a result, when the player's character resets after dying, the hasPass variable will always return false, as if the player doesn't own the Game Pass. To fix this, simply publish the game and play it outside of Studio, as you'll no longer be in testing mode. Just remember that transactions will cost Robux, unlike in Studio where test purchases are free. Now let's test the Game Pass in Roblox to see how it works in a live environment. You can see that I currently don't own the Game Pass, so I haven't received the sword. After I purchase it, I will obtain the sword, and if I die, I will receive it back. Even after rejoining the game, I will automatically receive the sword since I own the Game Pass. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss out on other relevant content.